Hello children, I welcome you all for today's class. Today we are going to see 10th Standard Social Science, Geography, Unit 1, Lesson India Location, Relief and Drainage. In the previous class we have learnt about the location and relief, and the remaining relief features and drainage we are going to see in this today's topic. I just want to recall you, India has been physiographically divided into 5 divisions. They are Northern Mountains, Northern Great Plains, the Plateau region, coastal plains and islands. The northern mountains are classified into 3 divisions such as Trans-Himalayas, Himalayas and Eastern Himalayas. The next physical division is Northern Great Plain, which lies to the south of northern mountains. They are also divided into 4 groups such as Rajasthan Plain, Punjab Haryana Plain, Gangetic Plain and Brahmaputra Plain. In this topic, today we are going to start from Peninsula Plateau, the third important physiographic divisions of India. This plateau region lies to the south of Great Northern Plains. This is the largest physiographic division of our country. It covers an area of about 16 lakh square kilometer, that is about half of the total area of the country. This plateau is an old rocky plateau region, and here the river Narmada divides this plateau into 2 parts. The north of the Narmada river comprises the central plateau, whereas the south of the Narmada river comprises the Deccan Plateau region. Here, look into this map. You can see the yellow color shading. That yellow color shading represents the plateau regions of India. This is a physical map of India. Here we are going to see the boundaries of the plateaus. Aravalli range in the northwestern part, Bundelkhand range in the northern part, and Rajmahal Hills in the northeastern side, and Eastern Ghats in the east side, and Western Ghats in the western side. These are the boundaries of this plateau region. First, we are going to see the Central Islands. This Central Islands is located between the river Narmada and the Northern Great Plains. Here, in this Central Islands, the highest peak is Guru Shikha. The height is 1722 meter. This is the highest peak of this range. And the western part of this plateau is Malwa Plateau, and the eastern part comprises the Chota Nagpur Plateau. This Chota Nagpur Plateau is very rich in mineral resources particularly. And second thing is Deccan Plateau. See the map. This Deccan Plateau is somewhat triangular in shape. It is the largest of the plateau region of India. Shape is roughly triangle. The first arm of this plateau is Eastern Ghats, and the second arm is Satpura Range, and the third arm is Western Ghats. The area of this plateau is about 7 lakh square kilometer. The height ranges from 500 meter to 1000 meter from above mean sea level. The next we are going to see is Thar Desert. The Thar Desert is one of the important physical divisions of India. It is also known as Great Indian Desert. It is a large arid region which lies in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. Arid region in the sense it is a very dry area. The area of the Thar Desert is 2 lakh square kilometer and forms as a natural boundary between India and Pakistan. It is the world's 7th largest desert. You all very well know which is the largest desert in the world. Yes, Sahara Desert, which lies in the African continent, is the world's largest desert, whereas our Thar Desert is the world's 7th largest desert. This desert lies in the western part of the Aravalli range and covers 2/3 of the Rajasthan state. As I mentioned already in the previous class, Aravalli range is one of the oldest range in the India. There are 2 major divisions in the Thar Desert. They are known as actual desert region, which is also called Marustali, and the semi-desert region, which is known as Banga. Here in the Thar Desert, there are different types of sand dunes and salt lakes called Dans are seen in this desert area. And the next important physical division is Western Ghats. This Western Ghats forms the western edge of the Peninsula Plateau. It runs parallel to the Arabian Sea coast. The northern part of this range is called as Sahyadris. The height of the Sahyadris increases from north to south. In the south, there is one hill is there. The name of the hill is Anemudi, which is a sort of tri-junction of 3 important hills. One is Anemalai Range, second is Cardamom Hills, and the third one is Parani Hills. In Parani Hills, there is one beautiful hill resort which is situated on the Parani Hills. The name of the hill resort is Kodaikanal. And the next important range is Eastern Ghats. It runs from southwest to northeast from the eastern edge of this Deccan Plateau, and this range is also called as Purvadri. The Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats meet at one point, and that point is the Nilgiri Hills. The Eastern Ghats are not a continuous range, whereas the Western Ghats is a continuous range. Why this Eastern Ghats are not a continuous range? Because it is dissected by many rivers. Example, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Pennar and Kaveri have dissected this range at many places. That is why it is not a continuous range. Look at this map. You can see the physical divisions of India. Here, the areas marked with black shade indicate the coastal plains of India. There are two types of coastal plains. One is Western Coastal Plain and another one is Eastern Coastal Plain. The coastal plains are formed by the depositional action of the rivers and the erosional and depositional action of the sea waves. The Indian coastal plains are mainly divided into following two divisions. One is Western Coastal Plain, another one is Eastern Coastal Plain. First, we are going to see the Western Coastal Plain. This Western Coastal Plain lies between Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. It extends from Rann of Kutch in the north to Kanyakumari in the south. This entire Western Coastal Plain is broadly classified into three divisions. The first one, that is Konkan Plain, which lies in the northern part of this plain, Kanara Plain, which lies in the middle part of this coastal plain, and the last one, which lies in the southern part, is called Malabar Coast. Along the coast, there are numerous shallow lagoons and backwaters called Coils and Terrace. Here, in the Malabar Coast, there is one famous backwater lake is there. The name of the lake is Vembanad. They may ask you in one word or fill up or choose. Dash is the famous backwater lake found in Western Coastal Plain. Yes, correct. The answer is Vembanad. Next coastal plain is Eastern Coastal Plain. This Eastern Coastal Plain lies between Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal. This coastal plain also divided into two divisions. The coastal plain, which lies between Mahanadi and Krishna river, is known as Northern Circus. The southern part, which lies between Krishna and Kaveri river, is called Coromandel Coast. This entire eastern coastal plain is very well known for its lakes. The important lakes which are found in this eastern coastal plain are Chilka Lake, which lies in Odisha state, Kolaru Lake, which lies in Andhra Pradesh, the Pulicat Lake, which lies in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, are the well-known lakes in the east coastal plain. And next one is, and the last important physical divisions of India is the islands. You all very well know what do you mean by island and what is the definition for island. Island is nothing but it is a land which is surrounded by water on all the four sides is called an island. Example, Andaman Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands. India has two major group of islands. The first one is Andaman Nicobar Islands and second one is Lakshadweep Islands. This Andaman Nicobar Islands lies in the Bay of Bengal, whereas Lakshadweep Islands lies in Arabian Sea. Andaman Nicobar Islands consist of 572 islands, whereas Lakshadweep Islands consist of only 27 islands. India's only active volcano, which is found on barren island, lies in Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. Here we are going to see in detail about these two islands. The first one is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they are Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south. These islands are of great strategic importance for the country. The administrative capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island is Port Blair. Here there is one 10-degree channel which separates Andaman from Nicobar group. There is one latitude at 10-degree north latitude. This latitude, here one small narrow channel water body is there which separates Andaman from Nicobar Island. The southernmost tip of this island is called Indra Point, is a part of Nicobar Island, but nowadays we cannot see this Indra Point as it is submerged in 2004 tsunami. And the last island is Lakshadweep Island. This is a small group of coral island which is found in the west coast of India. The total area of this island is 32 square kilometer. Administrative capital of Lakshadweep Island is Kavaratti, and these islands are also separated from Maldives Islands by a 8-degree channel. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, it is separated by 10-degree channel, whereas Lakshadweep Islands separated from Maldives by 8-degree channel. Here, out of 27 islands, there is one island is there. The name of the island is Spit Island. This Spit Island is an uninhabited area. You all know uninhabited area means there is no people can be live in that particular region, but there is one famous bat sanctuary is located in this Spit Island. Earlier, this Lakshadweep Islands had 3 divisions, namely Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amnidweep. During 1973, it was named as Lakshadweep in 1973. So far, we have learnt about the physical divisions of India. Now, we are going to see the drainage system of India. Drainage means is nothing but it represents the river system which flows through our country and ends into a sea or ocean or some other body of water. A drainage system is an integrated system of tributaries and a trunk stream which collects and drains surface water into the sea, lake or some other body of water. The total area drained by a river and its tributaries is known as drainage basin. This drainage system of India is divided into 2 groups based on their location. Number 1 is Himalayan rivers and number 2 is Peninsula rivers. Here is the classification of rivers of India. The classification of rivers of India is broadly classified into 2 types. One is Himalayan rivers, another one is Peninsula rivers. The Himalayan rivers include Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, whereas in the Peninsula rivers, the rivers such as Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Narmada, Tapti comes under Peninsula rivers. Look at the river map of India. You can see a blue color line is passing through all over India. That blue color always represents the water bodies. Here the blue color line represents the rivers as well as some important lakes are also seen in this map. Here in the western coastal plain, as I said earlier, there are few lakes are there. First one is Chilka Lake, which is near Mahanadi river, lies in Odisha state, and second one is Kolaru Lake, which is near Godavari river, which lies in Andhra Pradesh state, and the third one is Pulicat Lake, which lies between the state of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. And in the western coastal plain, you can see a Vembanad Lake, which lies in the Malabar coast, and this Vembanad Lake is found in Kerala state. And in Rajasthan, there is one lake called Sambar Salt Lake. That lake is found in the northwestern part of the Thar desert. Now, we are going to see in detail about the 2 rivers, Himalayan rivers as well as the Peninsula rivers. The first one is Himalayan rivers. These rivers are found in North India and originate from Himalayas. So, they are also called as Himalayan rivers, and these rivers are perennial rivers. Why these rivers are perennial rivers? Because throughout the 365 days we can see water in these rivers. That is why it is said to be a perennial rivers. The important Himalayan rivers are River Indus, River Ganga and River Brahmaputra. Look at the map. This is the North Indian rivers or otherwise known as Himalayan rivers. Here you can see the blue color shading. The blue color shading represents the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. If we take Indus, all these 3 rivers arises from the Himalayas only. They originate in Himalayas. The Indus also originate in Himalayas and flows through Jammu Kashmir, and then it enters into Pakistan and at last it drains into Arabian Sea. Whereas Ganges and Brahmaputra also originates from Himalayas. They flow eastwards and then they join in Bangladesh and then it drains into the Bay of Bengal. The first river we are going to see in the Himalayan river is Indus River. It is one of the largest river of the world. It originates near Manasarovar Lake. Its total length is out of 2880 km, only 709 km passes through India. It flows through Ladakh and Zanskar range and creates deep gorges. Here, what do you mean by gorges? Gorges are nothing but it is a shallow and narrow valley which lies between the 2 hills or mountain ranges. This Indus river system runs through Jammu and Kashmir and then it enters into Pakistan. Its major tributaries are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. and after this at last it enters into the Arabian Sea. The second main river system of Himalayan rivers are the Ganga river. It is the largest drainage system of India. It extends over an area of 8,61,404 square kilometer. The Ganga plain is the most densely populated place in India. Why the Ganga plain is most densely populated place in India? Because it has several important characteristic features are there. First one, it is a plain area. And second thing, fully comprises of alluvial soil which is very rich in humus content, and it is a very fertile soil. So, agriculture activities is carried over largely in this particular plains, and because of the agriculture activities this place is densely populated, and many towns are also developed on the banks of this river. The length of the river Ganga is about 2,525 kilometer, and here the major tributaries of Ganga are Gomti, Gandak, Kosi, Gagra, Yamuna, San, Chambal, etc. Here the Yamuna is the largest tributary of Ganga. What do you mean by tributary? A tributary is nothing but it is a stream that flows into a main stream of a river. So, Yamuna is the tributary of the Ganga river, and this river Ganga is known as river Batma in Bangladesh. In India we used to call it as Ganga river, whereas in Bangladesh the same Ganga river is used to call it as river Batma in Bangladesh. The combined river of Ganga and Brahmaputra creates the world's largest delta. The world's largest delta is known as Sundarbans delta, which lies in Bangladesh before joining into the Bay of Bengal. What do you mean by delta? Actually, delta is a geographical term. It is an area of low land where the river spread into many smaller rivers. If you see the delta shape, it is also somewhat in triangle in shape. And the last important river of the Himalayan system is river Brahmaputra. This river Brahmaputra originates from Chimaya Udang glacier of Kailash range. Kailash range which lies in the northern part of the Himalayas, and this river is also known as Tsangpo, T-S-A-N-G-P-O. Tsangpo meaning purifier in Tibet. Brahmaputra river is called as Tsangpo in Tibet. The length of this river is about, out of this 2,900 kilometer, only 900 kilometer flows through India. It enters India through a gorge in Arunachal Pradesh. That gorge name is Digang, and it has many tributaries. The name of the tributaries are Tista, Manas, Barak, Subanshri, some of the important tributaries of river Brahmaputra. And this river Brahmaputra is called as Jamuna in Bangladesh. After it joins with the river Ganga in Bangladesh, the river is called as Meghna, and then it drains into Bay of Bengal. And what are the characteristics of the Himalayan rivers? So far we have seen three important rivers. One is Indus, second one is Ganga, and third one is Brahmaputra. What are the important characteristic features of the Himalayan rivers are? First one, all these rivers are very long and wide. And second point is they are perennial in nature. Perennial in the sense throughout the year you can see water in these rivers, because all these rivers arise from the Himalayan glaciers. And third point is it is unsuitable for hydropower generation. Why it is unsuitable for hydropower generation? Because all these rivers flow through a plain area which is not suitable for hydropower generation. And the last point is the middle and lower courses of the rivers are navigable. All these rivers can be navigable, which can be used as an inland transport system. Example, Hooghly river in West Bengal. Next we are going to see the peninsular rivers. The rivers which lies in South India are called the peninsular rivers. Otherwise it is also known as South Indian rivers, and most of these rivers originate from the Western Ghats. These are seasonal rivers. Seasonal rivers in the sense non-perennial rivers. In these rivers only you can see water only during the rainy season, and these rivers flow in valleys with steep gradients. Based on the direction of the flow, the peninsula are broadly classified into two types. One is west flowing rivers, another one is east flowing rivers. The east flowing rivers are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, whereas the west flowing rivers are Narmada and Tapti. Look into this map. Here we can see the west flowing rivers as well as the east flowing rivers. West flowing rivers, there are two important rivers are there. One is Narmada, below Narmada is the Tapti. And in the east flowing rivers is the first one is from the north to south Mahanadi, and second one is Godavari, third one is Krishna, and the fourth one is Kaveri. Now let us see in detail about the South Indian rivers. The first one, river Mahanadi. This river Mahanadi originates near Shigava of Chhattisgarh district and flows through Odisha. Its total length is 851 km. All these distributaries form the delta of Mahanadi, which is one of the largest delta in India, and at last it drains into Bay of Bengal. What do you mean by distributary? A tributary that branches off and flows away from the mainstream or the parent river. A tributary means that branches off and which flows away from the main river is known as distributary. And second one is river Godavari. The Godavari is the longest river among the peninsular rivers. Which is the longest river among the peninsular rivers? Answer is Godavari. Very good. Here the length of this river is 1465 kilometers, and this river Godavari is also called Vrid Ganga. This Godavari is also called Vrid Ganga, originate in Nasik district of Maharashtra, a portion of the Western Ghats. It flows through the states of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and then it will drain into Bay of Bengal. The river Godavari near Rajamundri gets divided into two channels. One is called Vashishta and another one is called Gaudami. This forms one of the largest deltas in India. Here in river Godavari, there is one freshwater lake is there. The name of the lake is Kolaru Lake, which is located in the deltaic region of the Godavari. Next we are going to see river Krishna. The river Krishna originates from a spring at a place called Mahabaleshwar in the Western Ghats of Maharashtra. Length is 1400 km. It is the second longest peninsular river in India. Its tributaries are Bhima, Koyna and Tungabhadra, and at last it flows through Andhra Pradesh and then it drains into Bay of Bengal. And the last important river is Kaveri. The river Kaveri originates at Talai Kaveri, which is in Kudagu hills of Karnataka. The total length of the Kaveri river is 800 km. It is also called as Dakshin Ganga. Which river is called as Dakshin Ganga? Answer is river Kaveri, otherwise it is also known as Ganga of South. The major tributary in Karnataka, especially this river, bifurcates twice and form two important islands, two sacred islands. One is Srirangapatnam and another one is Sivasamudram. Srirangapatnam lies in Trichy district, which is very famous for Sri Ranganatha temple, and Sivasamudram is very famous for its waterfalls. While entering into Tamil Nadu, the Kaveri continues through a series of twisted gorges until it reaches Okenekal Falls and flows through a straight narrow gorge near Salem. The Kaveri breaks at Srirangam Island with two channels. One is river Kolarun and another one is river Kaveri. At last it empties into the Bay of Bengal at Bhumbugar. Bhumbugar was one of the flourished capital of the early Chola Empire. And next one is among the west flowing rivers. The first we are going to see is river Tapti. The Tapti is one of the major rivers of Peninsular India. It rises near Multai tank of Madhya Pradesh, and other two important rivers which drain into Arabian Sea are, one is Narmada and another one is Maghi. It outfalls into Arabian Sea through the Gulf of Cambay. And next one is river Narmada. This river also rises in Amakantak plateau in Madhya Pradesh, and its length is 1312 kilometers. For 27 km long, it forms an estuary before draining into the Arabian Sea. It is the largest among the west flowing rivers of Peninsular India. So far we have learnt about the east flowing rivers as well as the west flowing rivers. Now we are going to see the characteristics of South Indian rivers. First one, all these rivers originate from Western Ghats. These rivers are very short and narrow. They are non-perennial in nature. And fourth point is they are suitable for hydropower generation. Why these South Indian rivers are suitable for hydropower generation? Because they flow from west to east direction. Terrain is a rugged one, that is maybe undulating slopes will be there, that will be very useful for hydropower generation. And these South Indian rivers are not useful for navigation. So far we have learnt about the drainage system of India. I hope you all understood well. Now I am going to sum up this lesson. In this episode we have learnt about the plateau region, which has two divisions, namely Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. Another important physical division is Indian coastal plains, which is also divided into two divisions, Western Coastal Plain and Eastern Coastal Plain, and islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands. The drainage system of India is classified into Himalayan and peninsular rivers. Most of the Himalayan rivers drain into Bay of Bengal, example Ganga and Brahmaputra, whereas Indus alone drain into Arabian Sea. Whereas South Indian rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, all these rivers drain into Bay of Bengal, whereas the west flowing rivers Narmada and Tapti, they drain into the Arabian Sea. Evaluation. From this today's topic, we are going to see the distinguish between the following: Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, Western Coastal Plain and Eastern Coastal Plain. The first one is Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. You have to differentiate these two rivers. As I said earlier, the first point is Himalayan rivers are perennial, whereas peninsular rivers are non-perennial. Second point is they originate from Himalayas, peninsular rivers originate from Western Ghats. Himalayan rivers are long and wide in nature, whereas peninsular rivers are very short and narrow in nature. You have to give examples for Himalayan rivers like Indus, Ganges and Brahmaputra. For peninsular rivers, you have to give examples like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. And second distinguish is differentiate between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. This Western Ghats run parallel to the western coast. Eastern Ghats run parallel to the eastern coast, and Western Ghats are a continuous range, whereas Eastern Ghats are discontinuous range. As I said earlier, why? Because this Eastern Ghats are discontinuous because of the many rivers dissected to this range. The highest peak of this Western Ghats is Anaimudi, whereas in Eastern Ghats the highest peak is Magendragiri. Western Ghats receives very heavy rainfall, whereas Eastern Ghats does not cause much rainfall. And the last one is East Coastal Plain and West Coastal Plain. East Coastal Plain lies between the Eastern Ghats and Bay of Bengal, whereas West Coastal Plain lies between the Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. East Coastal Plain is a wide plain, whereas West Coastal Plain is a narrow plain. And in East Coastal Plain, it is divided into two divisions are there. One is Northern Circus, another one is Coromandel Coast. Whereas West Coastal Plain consists of Konkan Coast, Kanara Coast and Malabar Coast. I hope you all understood this lesson very well. So, go through the lesson, revise the book back question answers, and in the book back there is one exercise called map exercise is there. Buy one India outline map and mark these places with the help of the map in the book. And thank you children.